from the World Economic Forum, put your hands together for Alex Rodriguez. Yes, come on! Woo! That was amazing. I don't know how to come in with some energy just like that when I felt like I was at a boxing match. That was super cool. Welcome, everyone. Are you ready to see some crazy shit today? It's going to be kind of cool. We've come together to talk a little bit about biohacking, but I don't think you guys want to hear me talk that much. You just want to see the blood, which, by the way, is 100% guaranteed, everyone. 100% guaranteed. All right, so I'm going to talk about a super quick intro on biohacking really quick, and then we're going to get into this magic adventure. Let's go. So what is it? Biohacking is anything that you can do to your body, to your genome, to your person, to your bones that can enhance or change who you are. It's a really big thing that's happening around the world. I don't know if you guys have seen it before, but it includes all these different parts, right? Digital health, biohacking, changing your DNA with CRISPR, hacking your life with productivity tips, changing your diets, going into ketosis, everything to be a better human being and possibly to be able to live a bit longer. Why do people do this? Sorry about that, but this is just a small intro on what you're going to be seeing today. Why do people do this? My answer is, why wouldn't they, I guess. I mean, I wouldn't do this, and let's be honest, I'm not the one on stage today putting a chip in my hand, so I still think it's cool. I think it's the future. I think it's going to be amazing. And as all things future, it looks a bit shitty in the beginning, and most people don't want to do it. Thankfully, Edgar today is going to be doing it for us. He'll get to suffer so we don't have to do it, and maybe in 10 years we can get going. So what's happening right now in the world of biohacking? There's a bunch of cool examples which I'll blast through really quickly, but I hope you guys know Neil Harbison. He has a little camera that's able to send signals to him and tell him the sounds of light because he's colorblind. So he can actually hear light and colors, which is really, really cool. You have these printable kind of tattoos that have biosensors on them. So in the future, you'll be able to tattoo circuits on you that'll give you information about what's going on inside you. Your blood sugar, your amount of cortisol, meaning your stress, and a bunch of other crazy things. There's some people that have gotten really into putting magnets in their fingers. I don't fully understand it. I guess they want to feel like Magneto or something like this, but they say that they can sense magnetic fields. I'm not fully sure about this, but there's a bunch of cool examples. There's somebody that put these magnets in his ear so he can actually stream vibrations right into his ear and he can hear stuff. And last year, I don't remember when it was, he was able to get echolocation, you know, like bats do, because he had a thing that would emit sound and it would send him vibrations back to his different ears and the magnets that he had, so he was able to see without seeing, which is kind of cool. And there's infinite examples like this. So what can we do right now? Because obviously I'm not going to get a chip in it, but it will be happening. There's a bunch of different technologies that you can use to hack your body right now, from the most simple, like blocking the blue light in your eyes, right? I don't know if you ever heard of this, but the blue light, the computer screens, it disrupts our circadian rhythm. So you can buy glasses that block this out so you can have a normal circadian rhythm. This is already pretty commonplace, but there's a bunch of cool technology that allows us to hack our brain waves so we can put things on that can help us meditate, they can help us sleep, they can broadcast electromagnetic waves into our brain, so our brain adapts into those states and starts doing these things. It's honestly a crazy world of technology that we live in. So what does the future of biohacking look like? These are a couple really crazy, cool examples of what's going on right now, but there's a company called Second Sight, and they're making a bionic eye, kind of a cyborg eye, and they're able, partially, for the moment, to restore sight to the blind. Right now, they do it by integrating a small little chip into the retina, and the person wears some glasses, and they're able to see shades. But in the future, they could be able to see again with a cyborg eye, and maybe zoom in or record. I don't know. The possibilities are infinite. There's a company called Kernel, which are making chips that go into your brain, and right now they're doing it to help patients that have dementia and other things like this. But in the future, It could be for us to store, download, or even save memories. So many cool examples of what's going on. But what are we doing today? This is why we came. I don't know if you see in the bottom of the picture, there's something the size of a grain of rice in what seems to be a very thin hand. Well, this is what we're going to be implanting in my friend Edgar today, who is the willing host. This is a near-frequency communication chip, something that's very similar to what's inside your credit cards right now. And by implanting this chip in Edgar, we're going to be able to have a bunch of functionality. He's going to be able to put his credit card on there. He's going to be able to put the keys to his house, maybe the keys to his car, or even identify himself in the future. But without any further ado, let's just do this, right? All right. So I'd like to welcome everybody up first. So we have Ghislaine. Ghislaine, could you come up? Hello. All right, so I'll be welcoming people up on stage as it goes. Woo! Thank you.
Hello.
All right, hello, finally.
Hello,
Very
hello.
cool. Ghislaine, why are you here today?
Because I'm actually very interested in how we can actually start to use our bodies in their natural forms. So we can dance and move around without any wearables, any headsets, and I think implants is one of the ways that's pointing to that.
Hell yeah. And Ghislaine will be helping me not feel super awkward on stage by myself while all this weird stuff is going on. All right, so Edgar, can you please come up? Woo, can we welcome Edgar? Thank you. Edgar is the willing host today who's going to be doing something very cool to his hands. And now we have the implanter, which is Desi. Desi, can you come up, please? Desi. All right, this is a slow process, but I see that she's getting ready for this. All right, so what are you excited about today, Ghislaine?
I think we're at a very important stage, actually, and particularly here at 4 years from now, you know, we've got the chance here to talk and look ahead. And with all the changes that are happening around us, with the amazing opportunities being offered by augmented reality and mixed reality solutions that are starting to occur, we need to start to look more at how the body is the center of all this and how this technology needs to work more deeply for us. And implants is one of the ways to look at that.
All right. Wonderful. Daisy, you'll tell us when you're ready for this to happen? Nozief this? Yeah? Okay, nice. As she's putting on her gloves, and I assume that Edgar is getting more and more nervous every second, to tell you guys that he put lidocaine cream on his hand so it wouldn't hurt him, but they've assured us that it's just a small prick, although he needed to prepare himself a little bit. So, what's going on?
Your hand's numb now, yes. No. Yeah. No, not quite. Oh.
I'm super excited about this, everyone. He's my friend, and I do want to see a little bit of blood. So this is going to be really cool. Okay, so you said you've seen this before, right, Ghislaine? So
I have, in fact.
What is the future of this? What does it look like 5-10 years from now?
I think we're looking at a point where perhaps the 18th birthday present of 4 years from now is actually an implant. I think we're looking at the possibilities, and already actually, Swedish Railway are issuing to businessmen implants. They have a choice to have that instead of their season cards. We're seeing implant parties happen across Europe. Young people are very interested in getting rid of all that stuff you have to carry around in your pockets, what you can lose. So your key fob, your credit card, your travel card, all this information that can be held within a chip.
So right now, before anybody has seen what's about to happen and the blood, and I'm just kidding, before anybody knows what it can do, by a raise of hands, who would put one of these chips in their hands? Okay. Would you say that's like 15% of the people that are here? We'll see if that number of hands goes up or down after this experience.
But we do have already 200 medical implants that many of you will know about. I mean, even for women, there is now more and more regularly used, fertility implants are used instead of contraception, and anti-getting pregnant implants. And those are very simple implants, but there is a lot of very specialist ones, so like the deep brain stimulation ones, which are used for motor neuron diseases, Parkinson, and muscular sclerosis. So we are already using implants a lot in medical, and many of us have implants for our teeth.
So, that's a good last point. So this is what I'm imagining. I'm imagining that right now, the chip that we're putting into Edgar is just a normal near-frequency communication chip. It's able to hold very basic amounts of data, not super high levels of encryption, and all this cool stuff. And it's basically just the same as having a card, one of these key cards for your office or something like this.
Right.
But I'm kind of seeing that a few years down the line, you could have so much stuff on this, right? Like, what if you had some sort of biosensors in this? What if it could tell you your blood sugar as you're wearing it? Or what if it could tell you what your body is doing? How much melatonin is in your body right now? Is it a good moment to sleep or isn't it? Are you very stressed or are you not? Do you know all these amazing things that could be happening? She's rubbing her hands together, so it seems like this is going to happen. Are we going to do this? Are you ready? I'm super excited. Edgar, are you ready?
Okay. Yeah, I'm ready.
Woo! All right. Let's be honest. This is me just talking a little bit because we're all excited to see this. We'll give it a couple moments of silence for the tension to build up, and then I'll keep talking. Shit, I'm nervous. Do you have one?
Not yet, but I'm planning it. And I'm working with a friend who's an chip implanter. I'm just talking to her now about what to do, what I'm going to choose to have, what data hold on it, yes. So,
what would be the first thing that you would put on it?
I'd like to get over this constant keying in codes, just quickly being able to open phones, laptops, etc. But I'd also like to get rid of quite a lot of things I carry in my bag. I'd very much like biosignal feedback in different ways.
Yeah.
And I don't have a medical need, but many people do have that. So I think there's a very useful potential for people who, like you mentioned, diabetes, even sun exposure. You've had too much sun, vibrations on that. So, and maybe there's something more creative to do too. There are people using chips to make music in the air. There are people using chips to feel earthquakes around the world, to feel the weather coming. There's, very creative, wonderful, individual, idiosyncratic choices as well.
I'm excited to see this. Let's take a pause really quick and see what's going on here. It's waiting.
Now it's going to clean the area.
Okay. So I guess we're cleaning the surface. The surface is his hands. How excited are you on a level of 0 to 10?
Like 90%.
90%?
Like 90%.
That's it. That's all he needed. It was just a quick check. Okay, so how far away do you think we are from everything that you're saying, all this cool stuff?
As I mentioned, I do think for younger generations, this is definitely a way forward. There's been a lot of testing of implants, both for the medical side, but also for information-based and data implants.
Right.
Many different materials can be used, gold, silver, platinum, uranium, and in different parts of the body. This has been happening for quite a while now, and we have some quite strong pioneers who've experimented with it from the 80s onwards.
Okay.
So yeah, I think we're ready to move.
So Edgar is going to be putting some digital bling onto himself right now. Yeah. Oh, that's a great idea. Does anybody have any questions about what's happening right now on a very simple level while we're waiting for this to happen?
My question is really, what is the functionality of this chip, and also for how long is it gonna have it there?
So for how long he's gonna have it in there is however long he decides to have it, but what's good about it is that it's simple to take out. It's just one little prick and he can take it out. So it can be in there for, I think it's like 5 or something more years. It depends on the type of manufacturer, but they all have a coating that's biocompatible. Again, as I said, the functionality of this specific chip is not the most complex in the entire world. It's just a normal NFC chip from like a credit card, say. So actually this is, I just keep walking over here to see what's happening. Okay, so I'm gonna be like David Attenborough as I kind of dictate or narrate what's going on. The area has been marked with what seems to be a marker. Super, technical level. Let's talk about something while this is happening, because I'm getting super excited about this. Oh, should we do another question? Sorry. Yeah, why not? Let's go for it, and then we'll keep talking.
Edgar, is your name? What data are you going to put on this?
I'm sorry?
What's the data that this gentleman's going to put on the chip?
This gentleman, as he will explain to you later on, will be putting the opening credentials for his house on it. In a bit, he'll be able to put payment information on it, and he'll even be able to put some type of Bitcoin wallet and some other cool stuff like this. And if one day he gets a car that has one of these keyless entry fobs, maybe he can put that on there as well. Okay, this seems like it's going to happen right now.
Okay.
Moment of silence, everyone, for Edgar.
Antes, haz una prueba para que vean cómo se ve. No, pero como lo... ¿Así? ¿Hazlo al otro lado?
Okay, so can you see it? Find that angle.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
it's magnified, guys. It's not that big. Okay, so the syringe is about the size of 2 times the needle that they use to. Oh, what?
Now.
Oh, it's happening. Okay. Woo. Oh my God. Oh my God. Woo!
Done it.
Keep it going for Edgar. You really held up like a champ. Okay, so a bit of technical specs, and then we'll pan back to Edgar to see how he's doing. But the size of the needle that was used was about 2 times the size of a needle that's used to take blood out. So about that. The chip is the size of maybe a grain of sand or 2, and it's covered in a material that's biocompatible, so our body doesn't degrade it over time, and it doesn't create any harmful interactions. There it is! Woo! All right. Can I get this mic over here? That was amazing. Thank you so much, Desiree. Edgar?
Yeah, thank you.
Why did you do this? Now that it's done and you can't go back, why did you do this?
I did it basically for two main things. First, because it's super, for me, very useful, because I have a domotic house. I can open the door at the same time that, like, this is the key of my house. It will be the key of my house. And secondly, because I can withdraw it very easily. Simply making a little cat and pressing it, and it will bring out.
Woo! Thank you for doing this for us. So, now, this is the interesting part of the day. We're gonna do, you know, like in these cooking shows where they're cooking something and they're preparing everything and then it magically goes into the oven and literally 20 seconds after it comes all baked and perfect? This is what's happening right now. We're gonna do a quick switcheroo, and I'm gonna tell you why. It's because when you put the chip into somebody's hand, the tissue around it becomes inflamed for about 48 to 72 hours or something like this, so it can't be programmed on the spot. However, we already prepared this for you like a cooking show, so we already injected it in somebody, and we already programmed it with the necessary payment information. Pau, can you please come up onto the stage? Thank you very much. Woo! All right. So, right now, this is what's going to happen. We've programmed the chip that's inside Pau's hand to have all his necessary payment information. In this case, his Bank Sabadell account. Bank Sabadell have created a point of sale kind of system just because simply we don't have the normal point of sale thing that they have outside, so it's a virtual point of sale system. And what's going to happen is that Edgar is needing money from Pau, so he's gonna say, hey man, you owe me 15 euros. So he's gonna put his phone next to Pau's hand and he's going to take that money, direct deposit into his bank account. So this is the app right now. We're gonna do it a couple times just so you can see it. Done. Just so you think that it's not something weird happening, Bao, do you think that we can see the light, the LED? So this is the extra special part of all of this, is that there is an LED light inside of this chip, and it doesn't have a battery or anything like this. The energy feeds off of the actual frequencies that are being sent from the cell phone. Can you see the light? Yeah, okay, cool. So that light is underneath his skin right now. Wow. Okay, so an applause for everyone. Can we see the transaction being made? Okay, so if we zoom in, there we can see the transaction being authorized from Pau's wallet, which was on his hands, to Edgar's account. And this is not a Bitcoin wallet, this is actual money being transferred through Bank Sabadell accounts right now. So to talk about this, can we please get Ana Pujoriol on stage? Thank you. Ana is, she is the director of financial services for Bank Sabadell. She's helped us do this entire thing, in part, the mastermind of this entire weird process, but awesome at the same time. Ana, what do you think of this? What's the future?
Okay, we have been seeing now is what the future of payments could be. Now in payments, we are seeing a trend, which is the integration of the credit card in elements different from the card. Through tokenization, we can convert the credit card number into a token, and we can record or associate this token to any element, to a mobile wallet, to an implanted chip, to facial recognition, license plate, or whatever.
Thank you so much, Ana, and thank you for all of this. Any last remarks? What do you think? Where should we go from here?
I think it's wonderful that you've come to do this and do with the bank side. But as we were all talking today about, we know that, and particularly with banks, there's a lot of personal data here that's been used, and we need to have the debate about personal data protection, which the banks are very good at, but which needs to go into all the companies who are starting up to use chips, who are using personal data. And I think the second thing is, let's look 8 to 10 years from now and consider a space where we can use chips in our bodies to move augmented reality around ourselves, to actually use it within the workplace, through gestures, through our hands, through our whole bodies, without having to wear the wearables of today, the glasses of today. And maybe that's longer than 8 years away, but it's a very good place to look at, because then we are using our natural bodies and we're putting our human beingness at the center of technology.
Thank you so much for that. Before we close, as the ending closing remark, I just want to synthesize what happens here today, just so you realize how crazy this was. We came on stage, we took a knowing victim, we implanted a grain of rice-sized microchip with communication capabilities into somebody's hands. We got Bank Sabadell to create a token for a credit card and an account, put it in there, and now that person is able to make mobile payments with their hands and whatever else lies in the future. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming. This is the end of the live biohacking implant show. Thanks a lot.
Put your hands together, everyone! Come on! That was amazing!